Right, so this video is to show you a trick for using your left hand to help memorize some of the values on the unit circle, which ultimately will help you to evaluate the sine and the cosine of pi over 3, pi over 6, pi over 4 fairly quickly. So it requires you to use your left hand. So I've got it all lined up here, okay? And so we can see, right, there's my pinky, that's similar to here, right? And then I've got pi over 6 on my ring finger. I've got pi over 4 on my middle finger, pi over 3, right? And last but not least, pi over 2 is my thumb. So you can kind of see how they look alike, right? And then from there, okay, if I want to evaluate something about one of these angles, so let's say pi over 3, I can fold in this finger, okay, right? Now you'll notice that, oh wow, I can't hold my finger that way. Okay, there we go. And so all of these answers are all over 2, right? So you're just going to have to memorize that they're all over 2, okay? But from here, the 1 on the top corresponds to the 1 here, right? So I know that the cosine of pi over 3 is going to be 1 over 2, okay? And the fingers on the bottom always represent the sine. So there's 3 fingers here that corresponds to this 3 here, okay? So I know that the sine of pi over 3 is going to be root 3 over 2. Then from there, okay, then if I wanted to do it for pi over 4, I'd fold in that finger. I've got 2 fingers left here, right? So that corresponds to this 2 here, right? And I've got 2 fingers down here that corresponds to this 2 over here. So that's going to give you the cosine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. And then the sine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. And last but not least, I can fold in the pi over 6 finger, right? I've got 3 fingers on the top. The top always represents the cosine, right? So that corresponds to this 3 here. So the cosine of pi over 6 is root 3 over 2, and the sine of pi over 6 is 1 over 2. Okay? And you can use this to help to be able to get the sine and the cosine of those angles without a calculator.